Hey Samford fans, welcome in to another edition of the Samford Sports Wrap-Up. I'm John McAfee, happy to be joined by Samford Soccer head coach Todd Young. Coach, first of all, congratulations. SoCon regular season champions, SoCon tournament champions. You guys are going back to the NCAA tournament for the first time in 3 years. We're going to talk a little bit about that, but let's start by talking about the two games from last weekend, beginning with the semifinal against the Mercer Bears. And Mercer came in as a dangerous team, certainly. They knocked you guys off in the regular season. They ended your 30-game unbeaten streak in SoCon play. They also beat Furman on the last day of the regular season and allowed you guys to get that regular season title. So they came in as a dangerous opponent, but you guys really were able to handle them this time, start to finish, a 3-0 win. What was the difference the second time around?
I don't know. There are probably a lot of things. I mean, the trip from Citadel over to Mercer is difficult. I mean, so rest was probably a part of it. That game was a game that we played. We didn't have Allie, and who's our captain. And I think we were just probably a lot cleaner, and we were better in front of goal. It's a difficult task. Tony was Coach of the Year and well-deserved award. And so I thought that we had a really good mentality. We had a great week of training. I felt great about going into it, and at the end of the day, it's keeping the ball out of the back of the net and putting it in the back of the net, and we were able to push 3 past them. And the nice thing about that was we had the early games, so we got to get more rest and prepare for Furman on Sunday.
Yeah, and that set up the match with Furman. I think it was the matchup that a lot of people were expecting, the 1 and the 2 seeds. You guys tied Furman in the regular season, 1-1 here at home. In that tournament game. I'm not sure that the Bulldog fans could breathe a whole lot in the second half. Furman had its share of opportunities for sure, but a stellar set-piece goal from Alyssa Frazier in the first half, and great work from the defense and Morgan Mccaslin to keep Furman off the board in that one.
Well, I mean, Furman's a very, very senior-laden team, and when you realize it's your last game, or could be your last game, I guess that's a driving force. The shots don't really worry me so much. I mean, a lot of that happened in the last 10 minutes. And if you're up a goal in a championship game, the mentality is a little bit different than if you're trailing. I thought Morgan was outstanding. The back line played fantastic. There's no one that works harder at it than Frazier as far as like set pieces and training. And so, she struck it really, really well. The goalkeeper really didn't have a chance on it. And it's hard. Winning a conference championship from a tournament standpoint is really, really hard. And I was super proud of the kids. I thought they showed great character. I think the strength of this group is the group. I think they really rely on one another, and they certainly care about one another. And you get 90 minutes, and it's really just an opportunity for us to demonstrate how much we love and care for one another. And I think this team has done a fantastic job with that, and that culminated in us winning the tournament, and now getting to go to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, talk about the performance of the back line, not just in that game, but all season long. Specifically, Taylor Miller. We haven't really talked about her a lot on the show, but she was the SoCon Defensive Player of the Year. Yeah,
Taylor's just a fantastic kid first and foremost. And on a side note, they give out an award for the highest GPA on the winning team, and she's a religion major with a 4.0, and she's very, very well thought of on this campus, and she's an excellent soccer player. So I think she represents everything that we want our student athletes here to represent. And then to be Defensive Player of the Year is just a fantastic honor in a really, really good league. And a stat that I didn't actually know, that we've won that award for the last 6 years in the league. We've had the Defensive Player of the Year, so it will tell you that it's a premium for us in the way that we approach things.
You've been a part of a lot of championships, both regular season and conference tournaments in the OVC and the SoCon. Where does this one rank for you to do it with a team with so many new faces, so many underclassmen?
Well, I think you have to rank it pretty highly because, this senior class, let's talk about them first. They've won 4 championships, and they've been to the NCAA tournament twice in their time here. And when you look at the numbers, just the simple numbers, that less than 7% of all student athletes will actually play in an NCAA tournament. That's an amazing thing. They're all great, to be honest with you, and they all have their special memories and moments. But I don't know, I'm not totally sure that we've ever done it with this younger group as this group. And we spend a lot of time talking about those kids, and they're fantastic kids and they're fantastic players, but I am a real believer that it all rises and falls on leadership. And our senior class, as well as our juniors, have done just an amazing job. And they're our leaders, not because they're these kids that, sometimes as seniors and juniors are like, I deserve to be respected because I'm a senior and junior. If you want to know who I respect as our leaders, I respect the kids who are willing to carry the water, right? And that group is, they're like, they have a very much a servant's mentality, and I think that's made the adjustment for these young kids so much easier because they understand what the nature and the culture of this program are, and the upperclassmen have done a great job of exhibiting that.
Let's talk about the opponent. You're going to see selection show is Monday. You guys are going to South Carolina. Good news is you're not going to Tallahassee this year. South Carolina is still a really good program, obviously, top 5 RPI. Talk a little bit about the challenges that they bring and what you expect out of that game.
Well, they don't give up a lot of goals, and I've had the opportunity actually to work with Jamie Smith, the assistant there, with the region team and that sort of stuff, and I've known Shelley for, probably close to 20 years. They're really, really good at what they do. They have a great team. They limit your opportunities to score. They're methodical in what they do, and they beat a lot of really, really good teams because they're just so difficult to break down, and they always find a way to score enough. So it'll be a huge challenge for us. I mean, I'm not sure. The NCAA seems to love to send us to Tallahassee. I'm not 100% sure they did us any favors sending us to South Carolina. But the thing about it is that they play soccer and they knock it about, and I think that's a better matchup for us than some other opponents that we might have gotten. But it'll be a tall task for us for sure. We understand that. We'll get a few moments in the game that will decide it, and if they go our way, then we're in it late and have a chance to go on. If we don't, then it'll be a one and done for us. So the thing that I like so much about this group is I think they look at it, and it's what I've told them told them going into our game on Sunday. They've already won, right? They've already won because they care about one each other and they love one another, and they've had just this great magical season of being a part of each other's lives. But if you go to South Carolina and you win, it sure as heck makes the stories better, right? So that's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to make the story better.
How much does the non-conference schedule that you guys had prepare you for something like this? You guys have already seen a couple of SEC schools. You tied LSU and Auburn this year.
Well, I think that's a thing, right? I mean, I don't think we'll be intimidated by the environment. Although, from what I understand, South Carolina has an amazing environment, and they'll be, they have close to 3,000 people at a game, which I'm quite excited about that. I think they'll be great. But even like for us going to Florida State, who is a 1 seed. And although that went really poorly for us, I think that helps us for these moments, right? Or playing down the Plains against a very good Auburn team who doesn't really lose very often down there. And then we got the opportunity to play LSU here. I think all those games, and even if you go further back, Ole Miss was our exhibition at their place. So, kids come here because they want to play the Power Fives, and they come here not just to say we've played them, because they expect to have success against them. We're getting the SEC tournament champion, so that's a tall task. But I don't think that we'll be intimidated necessarily by the environment. I don't think it has to be a moment where the glam and everything will overtake us. So I think we'll be super excited about it, and I think that we're as prepared as we could be. We get 90 minutes to see what we can do about it.
Coach, appreciate your time. Looking forward to watching this Saturday.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Samford head coach Todd Yeldon. Stay tuned. We've still got an interview with goalkeeper Morgan Mccaslin coming up next. Welcome back to the Samford Sports Wrap-Up. I'm joined now by goalkeeper Morgan Mccaslin. Morgan, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks very much for having me.
Well, let's start by talking a little bit about what brought you to Samford. A lot of Bulldog fans might know that you came from Ole Miss. What made you kind of look elsewhere, and what ended up leading you to become a Samford Bulldog?
Yeah, well, after last season at Ole Miss, I was just looking for a change. So Todd was one of the people that recruited me, and I came here and loved it. I just was so attracted by how much they won and what a great program they've built up here. The school, the culture, everything just really appealed to me, and it seemed like a great fit and a better change for me. So that's pretty much why.
Yeah, talk a little bit about the culture in this team. Obviously, this is your first year here, but it's special to be a part of a team that has now won 6 consecutive regular season SoCon titles.
Yeah, it's definitely something super different from even the Power 5 teams. You never get really a chance to be in this many finals or win as much as we do, which is awesome. And I find every time we all get to put on the jersey, it's a huge honor, and we just know we have a lot to live up to. So I think being a part of this team is something that's really cool, and I think everyone embraces that, and we have a lot of competitiveness and motivation, and we're all super confident. So, and as soon as I came to this team, I just felt super embraced by everyone, and I love that about this team.
Let's talk a little bit about last weekend, the SoCon tournament. 2 big wins for you guys, both clean sheets. Talk a little bit about your performance. You were the most outstanding player, but also the performance of your defense in that tournament.
Yeah, Mercer, myself at least, I don't even think I had a save on that game. So it was a little bit quiet back there for me, which is not a bad thing, not complaining. But my back line has been solid all year, and they have really been what has protected me a lot and got me a lot of the success that I have. We have Kylie Gaza back there who's a freshman, so I'm super excited I'll get to be able to play with her my whole time because she's just come in and been a stud back there really for us. And then Taylor Miller, Defensive Player of the Year, she's been huge. Every game she comes up big. And we got Taylor Meneed, Lexi, they're always solid out there and always making me feel confident in front of them.
What's it been like playing on a team with so many young faces, so many new faces to the program? I mean, about half the roster is underclassmen.
Yeah, I think at the start I was nervous because there were so many freshmen coming in, but I think they've really held their own and just come in, and now that they have a season under their belt, I think from here it's going to be really cool to see what we can do, especially since all these new people are playing and doing big things on the team.
Looking forward to this weekend. We had the selection show on Monday. You guys are going to South Carolina for the first round of the NCAA tournament. Just talk about the challenges that brings. Obviously, the Gamecocks are a really good program.
Yeah, obviously South Carolina I think is 5 in the RPI, so they're a great team. But I also think we are too. We have a lot of motivation and a lot of momentum coming off this big tournament win, and I think that will help us going forward for sure.
Looking at the 2 clean sheets from last week, I mean, how much pride do you and the defense put in getting those clean sheets?
I think it's a big thing for us. It's hard, and especially in conference play, to not give up a goal or not to give up a lot of shots. And I think that's something that me and my defenders take a lot of pride in and take care of every game. We just come out and do what we need to do, and we don't try and think about that, try and think about more of the outcome. But if that happens, then that's a big bonus.
Now, you do have some experience playing in the NCAA tournament. Last year with Ole Miss, you beat Clemson, so you played in 2 tournament games. How does that experience benefit you this year?
I think it's going to help a lot, especially since I just came off it last season. I kind of know what it's like. I got my nerves out last season, season under my belt for that. So I feel ready, and hopefully I'll be able to lead my team a little bit going in for people who haven't had as much experience. So I think that'll be big for me.
Morgan, appreciate your time. Best of luck this weekend.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Special thanks to Morgan Mccaslin and head coach Todd Yelton for joining me on this edition of the Samford Sports Wrap-Up. We'll see you next week.